We all know, and trading is one of the best ways to make money online. And there are so many things to love about trading. And one of the best things about trading is the journey of trading. This is the journey of life. We all start off, we don't know anything. We have to learn skills, we have to make mistakes, we keep growing, we learn a lot about ourselves along the way. And just like in life, when it comes to trading, we all have goals. And for the most part, the goals that we have in our trading, it's fugazi. The only reason that we have a goal is so that we're motivated to want to grow and to want to become more and to become that person that is capable of reaching that goal and having that result. And in order to reach our goals in our trading, we have to evolve. In this video, I want to talk about some of the lower to higher levels of evolution as a trader. And then I want to walk through a specific setup using the volume profile where we can use this as a template to help understand a different level of trading. If for any reason you're new to this channel, a big welcome to you. I'm Corbs. I'm a full-time futures trader. Currently, I'm just traveling the world full-time, trading as I go. And on this channel, we talk about trading. So if you're looking to become a trader, if you're looking for a life of freedom, make sure you subscribe and stick around for the journey. On the journey of trading, I'll say that the lowest evolution, the lowest level of evolution that a trader could have if you come into this is genuinely just wanting something for nothing. And this is where we have things like trading bots and signal groups. And generally this idea that there's something out there that we can just put money into or somebody that we can just copy and it's going to be this goose that lays golden eggs and just prints money. And the reason that this is such a low level of evolution to try and come into our trading is because we're not understanding here the game that is being played. The idea that we have a goal and we have things that we want, and it's all about the journey. It's all about growth. And trying to take that and then just jump straight to the end result without having to do anything or without having to grow at all. It's like trying to just cheat the system, break universal law. And of course, this isn't going to work. I don't really think most traders are stuck here. And if you're listening to this and you think, yeah, Corbs, that kind of sounds like me, that's really what I'm into. It should be an obvious alarm going off that trading is just not your path. I've been trading for a while and I've never joined a signal group. I've never put money into a trading bot and I've never had this mindset about trading. And if you do, trying to change that mindset and looking at trading now as a craft and being in this for the long haul, I'm sure it would just be overwhelming and probably discouraging. And it should just be an obvious conclusion that this is not your path. And that's fine. There are a lot of really good ways to make money online. And you should just put this to bed and go do something else and be very happy about that, as opposed to maybe just banging your head up against a closed window that this just isn't going to be for you. Another stage in evolution is trying to outsource the responsibility for your results. And this is where you don't want something for nothing, but you do want the secret. You do want somebody or something, maybe a set of indicators, just something that you can follow that's going to solve all of your problems. You want that as a secret. In the world of self-help, there's a very powerful idea that nobody is coming to save you. And on the surface, this is very easy to understand. Well, of course, we got to be, in control of ourselves. We got to be accountable for what's going on in our lives. But when we let that sink in and we really mull that over, the idea that nobody is going to be responsible for making my dreams come true. Nobody's coming to help me. I have to bear all the weight of that on my shoulders. This can be an uncomfortable truth. And I think the first time that maybe we have this as a real realization, it's heavy and it can be very scary. But it can eventually lead to a lot of freedom and a lot of empowerment if we stick with that. And I know a lot of traders are getting stuck right here. And it's not because they're bad. It's not because lazy or just because you're wanting a handout. And if we get off of the surface of why you're not getting good results in your trading, why you're not able to crack into having consistency, and if we look at all the reasons that might happening, and if we were just 100% honest, you would probably admit to yourself with the realization that, yeah, I don't want to be completely responsible for my results that I'm getting in trading. It's like having this goal and being here and going through that process of trying to learn new things and to grow and to become more, getting out of our comfort zones. It could be a very difficult thing. And it would be so much better if somebody could just bring us the goal. Yeah. But this line of thinking causes us to build castles in the sky and to have these great dreams like someday, way off in the future somewhere, I'm going to have enough money to invest in real estate, or I'm going to be able to quit this job I don't like and travel the world. Beautiful dreams that never happen. It would be a good use of time to just spend a little bit of time and asking ourselves and maybe figuring out if this is you. If you look around and you think, I've never really gotten good results in my trading, and I've pretty constantly been jumping around from thing to thing, from group to group, from system to system, from indicator to indicator. And through all this noise, if I kind of just cut out all these actions that I'm doing, and if I was just really honest about what's going on here, yeah, you're right. The root of this is I really want something outside of myself to come in and handle this for me. I don't want to take on that full responsibility. And if you come to that conclusion, it would be a good idea to take it one step further and just try to figure out why. Why? Why do you feel like you're not capable? Why do you feel like there has to be somebody better than you, or somebody outside of you, or something outside of you that can come in and solve you? Why can't you do it? And whenever you start tinkering around with the old think tank, you just got to be careful because you might get what you're looking for. And most of the time we do crazy things in our lives, all of us. And when we get down to the root of why we really do these things, the answer is heartbreaking, but it's the good hurt. The next, or another stage in evolution as a trader, and this is where I really want to get to, is just taking on radical responsibility for our trading. And this is a natural progression of people that stay in trading long enough and kind of figure things out and try a lot of things and then, start to get a handle on this. And being that this is a natural next step, I know that there's a lot of confusion when it comes to trading with discretion. And it's easy to get caught on one of two extremes, where potentially you're trying to do something 100% mechanical, or on the other side of things, it's just guns blazing, all feelings, no facts, just 100% from the gut. We're going to jump into some charts, and I want to look and break down a real example of a discretionary trade idea that I've developed so that we can start to dissect it. And ultimately, what we want to do here is just identify, what does it look like to stop looking for a magic system or a secret method to come in and just change everything? And what does it look like to take real ownership over our trading and to grow and to become that trader that is capable of getting the results that we want? Before I pull up a chart, let's just start with a little bit of clarification around what exactly is a good trade idea. Because what I'm putting forward is that trying to copy somebody else is not a good trade idea. Trying to just rely on maybe blindly following a indicator is not a good trade idea. And to me, a good trade idea is repeatable action that we have seen before, that we know what is most likely to happen next. Repeatable action that we've seen before, that we know what is most likely to happen next. I'm going to show an example so that we can unpack this and just understand that this is a template that can be repeated and can lead us to a higher evolution in our trading. Looking at the chart, what we're seeing here is a blank chart with a volume profile. And this volume profile is allowing us to see areas of high and low volume. And what we can plot out here and just draw on the charts is we can identify, here's areas of low volume, these are areas of high volume, and we goes off and just observe those. The trade idea that I want to start walking through is extremely simple. But when price reaches these areas of low volume, entering the market, and then looking to target these areas of high volume. That's the trade idea. This is a discretionary idea that I've developed, and I just call this the line in the sand. And looking at this, why is this a discretionary trade idea, or why is this important, and what exactly does this do, and how can we use this in our trading? And then let's talk more specifically about what exactly this is as an idea more granularly. But to start off and to be able to go down this route of taking ownership of your trading and being the one that's putting all of these things together, we need to start with learning a tool. And that tool can be anything. It could be price action. It could be order flow. In this case, we're learning the volume profile. And when we learn the volume profile, we understand, and any tool that we want to learn, we need to understand what this tool does, what it's showing us, why that is important. And in the case of the volume profile, what we're seeing here and what we can learn is that the volume profile is showing us at every price how much buying and how much selling happens. Volume is buying and selling. When somebody buys and when somebody sells, that creates volume. The reason that this is important is because this taps into the foundations of how markets move. The reasons that we have a market is we are trying to match together buyers and sellers. It might seem like the reason we have a market is just to mess with your head or to try to take your money or to work you over. And that's not true. The reason that we have a market is we're trying to bring together, we're trying to do business, we're trying to match together buying and selling. And so when we see areas like this of low volume, this isn't just low volume. This is an area where nobody wants to do business. And price is not going to stay there. We're going to move away. And these high volume areas are not just areas of high volume. These are very popular prices that the market is going to go to and going to target because a lot of business is being done there. Now, there's theory here to learn, and it's important to go very deep. When you want to learn a tool and you want to incorporate that into your trading, learn everything about it, understand everything about it. But for the simplicity of this video, let's just say we're going to move away from these areas of low volume and we're going to target these areas of high volume. Now, by learning this tool and by being able to see, what this is telling us and why it's important, we're able to have repeatable action that we can start to identify. This is a pattern. The way that this worked for me is being able to understand this tool, what it was seeing. I was able to recognize this, that, hey, we get to these areas of low volume and we move away from them and we target these areas of high volume. This happened. Looking back, this happens a lot. This is repeatable type action that I've seen before and that I know what's most likely to happen next. And if we drill this in and take a look at, a day that's more granular here, of seeing how a day shapes up, you might look at this and just think that the market's being fairly chaotic. It's just going up, it's going down, and there's no real rhyme or reason to this. It's just chaos. And this is where failing to have context and maybe just trying to blindly follow an indicator, this leads to a ton of confusion and usually just getting chopped out and having a lot of losses and being very frustrated. But if we look at these same areas here that are these low and these high volume areas, and we just see that on a more granular view of seeing how that shapes up every day, now that same action starts to make perfect sense. Where we're spending all of this time trading all of this that you could call chop, but we're just trading all of this volume here, is happening around these areas of high volume. And then when we get to these areas of low volume, we move away from them and usually quickly, and then come back into these areas of high volume. Now, this is a single trade idea, and there's going to be plenty of days where this doesn't shape up because there's no LVNs and HVNs to lean against. We're in an area where those aren't present. And I know a big mistake that a lot of traders make is thinking that the way that we make money in our trading is by learning this thing. And then once we learn this thing, every day we're going to be able to come in and just know exactly what to do. And every day we're going to be able to look at the market and know exactly what is going on. In reality, the purpose of having a trade idea or a method is not so that every time we look at the market, we know exactly what to do. But the purpose is that when there is something to do, we're able to see it, we're able to observe it, and we're able to take advantage of it. With this one tool, this is a volume profile. And staying in that world of volume profile, we have the composite profile, which is where this trade idea comes from. We have micro composites, and we have just the daily intraday profile that's shaping up. And this same process can be repeated of learning this tool, understanding what it's showing us, understanding why that information is important, and then being able to make observations, seeing these patterns of repeatable type action that happens again and again. I call this the line in the sand. And it's this idea that these LVNs work as a line in a sand, separating out the targets, which are these high volume areas. And then when price gets to those places, I want to lean against those to trade off of them and then target the high volume on the other side. Repeatable type action that happens that I've seen before, that I know exactly what to do. Another trade idea that we've talked about on this channel before is called the naked tractor beam. And that's not using a composite, that's just using the intraday volume profile. I've developed other trade ideas using the same tools around, I have one that's called Afternoon Delight, one that's called Playing with Double Ds, Unfinished Business, Yin and Yang. These are all the same exact process of understanding this tool and then being able to identify repeatable action that we can then flesh out a little bit, put together with some rules, and then monitor that, and then look to just increasingly get better and better at these trade setups, and then ultimately be able to add more in to the trades that we're taking. And I said it before, and I know a lot of traders are getting stuck here in this this type of or this exact area, and the area is just trying to do something that's 100% mechanical every day, all day. And what this is essentially doing is trying to beat the robots at their own game. And trading with discretion does not mean that you have to just go from the gut all day and just have no rules and have no structure. But it does involve taking ownership, learning a real skill in the markets, knowing what you're doing, and knowing why you're doing it. Starting to move away from just following indicators and starting to look at the market differently and look in the market in this way has been a game changer for me. And I know it would be for you as well. And if we can just put together the difference here of this dynamic of coming into the market and trying to outsource the responsibility of making good decisions and just trying to chase around this magic thing that all we have to do is just push this button and it's going to, print us money, and understanding that this journey of trading and making this our craft and learning these tools and growing in certain areas and being able to make these observations and repeating that process, making more and more observations and adding those into our tool belt so that the more times we see things in the market, the more connections we can put together, the more trade ideas that we can have, so that the more things the market throws at us, the better we can understand how to handle this. And of course, the purpose of this video and even looking through this trade idea is not so that we can all run out there half cocked and look to be just firing away when we think we see an LVN, but it's just to describe this process of this is what we would call like a unique trade idea that is an observation that I made that I didn't have to read somewhere, I didn't have to see somewhere. By learning this tool and by honing in on this, we're able to understand, what is this thing telling me? Why am I seeing this? And the tools that we're using should allow you, if you're going to put something on your chart, you should be able to understand everything about what this is showing us. And then you should be able with that tool to see repeatable action in the market so that when it shapes up, you understand what is most likely to happen next. When we get to these areas of low volume, I understand whether we break it or whether we hold it, we're likely to move away from these areas and move to the next area of high volume. And this is something that we can rinse, wash, and repeat. This is a very simple idea. We can have more sophisticated, even more complicated ideas, but they don't have to be. A lot of things that we can do in our trading are very simple. And simple doesn't mean not effective, but sometimes it does. There are times where we're doing very simple things in our trading, like just trying to follow some indicators, and it's not sophisticated enough. There's no edge in it. As I said earlier, it's just trying to beat the robots at their own game. And in order to actively trade and to outperform the market, what we're all trying to do here, we don't have to run around no rules, just trading from our gut. And we don't have to just blindly push buttons because an indicator tells us to. We can be in a position where we really understand what we're doing, why we're doing it. When we get to these areas, I know why I want to enter. I know where this is likely to go. I know where this trade has failed and I need to take it off. I know what the risk to reward is. All of these things come together and they make perfect sense. And as I said earlier, I'll say it one more time, but this has been a very big deal for me. Being able to go through these progressions of just different evolutions in trading, of different levels of awareness of what we're doing here and how to do this. And there's definitely been times where I was looking to outsource this and just trying to find that, combination or that settings that I can put on my indicator that's just going to be the thing that fixes everything. And it's an exciting part of this journey of trading. If you want to be on this route and you want to grow in this area, as I think we all do, it's a worthy thing. It's a great thing to do, but we just want to make sure we're doing it right. And I think in general, this type of an approach to the market where we're taking ownership over these things, we're learning our tools, we're understanding what they're doing, why they're doing it, we're putting together these trade ideas, we're understanding what's most likely to happen next. This is a much more interesting way to spend our time on the screens than just waiting for an indicator to tell us to push a button. And when I'm sitting there at the charts, most of the time, there's nothing to do. I'm just looking and observing and putting together the new information as it's coming in. And with that, I can sit here for hours looking at the screens and I'm never bored. It's very engaging. It's very active. Like when the market's open, there's nothing I would rather do than sit here and to be a part of the action as it's happening. But I couldn't say the same thing if I'm just waiting to push a button because I had an indicator tell me to do it. Yeah. Listen, as always, at some level, we're all in this together. So I want to wish you all very happy trading. Be careful out there and don't do anything crazy. Yeah.